Hello everyone. This is a follow-up to the first word types video in which I gave a definition of what word types are and talked about 4 of the most common word types: nouns, adjectives, verbs, and adverbs. If you haven't seen that video and you think it might be useful, you can click this link and watch it now. For this video, I'll be going over 4 slightly more advanced word types that you may come across, and these are conjunctions, prepositions, pronouns, and determiners. Starting with conjunctions then, a conjunction is a word that connects 2 clauses in a sentence. Now, I don't want to go into too much detail about clauses here, that'll be for another video. But to help you understand this, a conjunction is a word that joins together 2 parts of a sentence. Let's look at an example. She arrived at the shop and she realised that it was closed. Here, we have 2 different parts of the sentence. She arrived at the shop is the first part, and she realised that it was closed is the second part. Our conjunction in this sentence is the word that brings these 2 parts together, and that is and. So and is our conjunction here. Now, there's often some confusion around conjunctions about whether or not to call them connectives. A connective is an umbrella term given to any word that connects parts of a text together, so a conjunction fits into the category of a connective. However, a conjunction specifically connects 2 parts of a sentence together. That's its job, whereas the term connective could also apply to other types of linking words, such as adverbs or prepositions. Okay, so moving on to prepositions then. A preposition is a word that tells us the position of something in either space or time. So, a preposition can tell us 2 things: where something is or when something is happening. Here's a new example. On Tuesday, I kicked the ball over the fence. What we need to look for are the words that tell us where something is or when something happened. So we're told when with on Tuesday, and we're told that the ball was kicked over the fence, which means that on and over are the prepositions in this sentence. Next, let's look at pronouns. A pronoun is a word that replaces a noun. Okay, so think back to the last video when we looked at what a noun is. A noun is the object in a sentence, the thing. So a pronoun is a word we can use instead of naming the actual object. Let's look at another example. The plane soared across the sky. Well, here we have 2 nouns, the plane and the sky. Now, if we had already used the word plane a few times in previous sentences, we don't really want to use it again, because that'll make the writing sound boring and repetitive. So, what we can do here is replace the noun with a pronoun, with plane becoming it. It soared across the sky. Other examples of pronouns include he, she, they, we, us, them, him, and her. And all of these words can be used to replace a noun in a sentence. Finally, let's look at determiners. A determiner is a word that goes before a noun and identifies it in more detail. Let's look at a simple example. The apple fell. Okay, first of all, we know the noun is apple because that's the object. The determiner here is the word the. It tells us that there is a specific apple that fell, the apple. Now, if we were to change the determiner to an, this changes the meaning of the sentence slightly. This time it tells us that an apple fell. It's less specific, so any apple from a number of them could have fallen. If we change the determiner again, this time to her, the meaning changes once again. Now it tells us that the apple belonging to a female character is the apple that has fallen. So each time we are given different pieces of information depending on the determiner that we've used. Other examples of determiners include some, my, their, every, this, and that. When using determiners, it's important to remember this rule when deciding if you need to use a or an. If it comes before a word that begins with a vowel, it must be an. If it comes before a word that begins with a consonant, it must be a. So in these examples, we have an elephant because the noun begins with a vowel, and we have a dog, because the noun begins with a consonant. That's a lot of information, so to end with, here are a couple of example sentences. If you'd like to practice identifying each of these word types, you can pause the video in a moment and try to work it out before I show the answers. I'll reveal the answers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here they are. Okay, so that's all for this video. Don't worry if that seemed a lot more complicated than the first word types video. These were more advanced, but the more you practice identifying these different word types in sentences, the more confident you'll get at doing it. Again, I hope it was useful. Thanks for watching. See you next time.